This would be an absolute steal for the Boston Celtics if Brad Stevens could pull this off in this year's NBA draft. Of a lot of targets have seemingly been rising and falling over these last couple of weeks. And one player that's predictability is very uncertain in the draft is freshman center Thomas Sorber. And I truly do believe he has the potential to be one of the best, if not the best big in this NBA draft, and I think he would fit perfectly and for what the Celtics need with this offense. And I think Brad Stevens, this is the time to go out and make that ploy to go out and get a guy like Thomas Sorber. And I'm going to explain why in today's episode of Celtics Digest. I am Bruce Veliz, and you guys have been fantastic showing your love for Patrick and I on these draft videos and all the videos that we've been posting on the channel of recently. We really do appreciate all the support that you guys have been giving us, but we do want to let you guys know you guys got to continue to hit that subscribe button. 64% of you guys who watch these videos are not subscribed, and with the offseason coming into full swing, with the draft less than 3 weeks away, we obviously have some stuff to break down regarding that, but also potential trades involving big names like Jrue Holiday, Kristaps Porziņģis, and the uncertainty of the Celtics' future and off-season going into with free agents and stuff is just right around the corner. So if you want to make sure you stay up to date on everything like that, definitely stay tuned and hit that subscribe button. But without further ado, let's dive into today's video and let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section on your guys' thoughts. But personally, I think that this would be absolutely fantastic if the Boston Celtics were able to swindle a guy in Thomas Sorber in this NBA draft, as I think he has the potential to be a lottery guy and has that upside to be one of the best bigs in this draft. And we're going to look at an article once again by Nick Goss of NBC Sports Boston, who's done some great job breaking down these prospects. And he says Celtics draft fits, how Thomas Sorber could boost this Celtics front court. If we want to look at his bio and looking at his stats, obviously Thomas Sorber, standing 6'10", 255 pounds, is a big body for the Boston Celtics that they could definitely add. And averaging 14.5 points, 8.5 rebounds, and 2.5 assists basically in college, while with 2 blocks per game, shooting 52% from the field in 24 games is some very good stats. Now, his three-point shot wasn't the greatest, I will not lie. He shot around 16%, but he did have some great college accolades, as he was an all-Big East third-team member and the Big East all-freshman team member, even with getting injured this season, dealing with a foot injury. If we want to look at why Thomas Sorber fits the Boston Celtics, Goss lets us know that Sorber obviously averaged those points of 14.5 last season, and he has good touch around the rim and is an effective lob threat off the pick and roll. He's able to beat slower players off the dribble and finish at the rim. While Sorber isn't much of a three-pointer shooter, like I mentioned, he only shot 16.2% on 1.5 three-point attempts per game. Sorber doesn't have to shoot lights out from three-point range to be a quality NBA player, but as NBC Sports Boston Celtics insider Chris Forsberg explains, it would definitely improve Sorber's potential at the next level if he become an average or better outside shooter. The Hoyas big man is coming off foot surgery, though, like I mentioned. Even though that he was given that foot surgery, he was named to Big East all-freshman team, and the offensive game was close to the rim. The question is, can he fully develop a three-point shot? If he does, the potential becomes more than just a defensive rotational player. 2 areas where Sorber can help the Celtics immediately, though, is rebounding and defense, as he crashes the glass at both ends of the floor and is a real shot blocking presence at the rim. Sorber's versatile skill set would also make him worthy of the number 28 overall pick. And for all these reasons stated by Nick Goss here, I do 100% agree. Like he mentioned, the rebounding and defense is what the Celtics are really going to value from this center position, as we have the uncertainty, obviously, of Kristaps Porziņģis being on the trade block, if he'll return back to the Boston Celtics, and even if he does, will he be at that peak form before his illness? We all know about his injury uncertainty as well. There's a lot of question marks revolving around him, but not only just that, there's question marks revolving around the backup big with the Boston Celtics, as Luke Kornet has been a valuable free agent, and who knows if he takes a pay cut, and Al Horford, even though I don't think he's going to retire, is still considering that potential option or even leaving the Boston Celtics. And I think that Al Horford will be brought back regardless, but still looking to potentially fill in that role of another center, specifically when guys like Neemias Queta and Xavier Tillman haven't really put themselves on display to really make you believe that they could be that dominant backup center as a guy like Luke Kornet. You obviously have to consider the options at the center position. And like I mentioned, an interior paint defender and rim protector, if they do lose Luke Kornet or if they do lose Kristaps Porziņģis, is something that the Celtics are definitely going to need to value. But not only just that, the rebounding aside as well. Not only would the Celtics be losing some centers potentially this offseason that will hinder their rebounding, but also Jayson Tatum, the team's leading rebounder, as we all know, is also going to be out with an injury this season. So it would be nice to kind of supplement that rebounding once again with a solid solid defensive rim protecting big, and a guy like Thomas Sorber can really do that. Like we mentioned, obviously the only real flaw in his game is his outside shot and the ability that he doesn't really have that versatility in his bag. But I truly do feel that if he was in a system with Joe Mazzulla's offense, we did see with players in the NBA in last year's draft, a player in Ryan Dunn who shot awful in college, translate to the NBA and shoot pretty decent in his rookie season. And a guy like Thomas Sorber fitting in once again on a Celtics team who really prioritizes those threes might be able to gel and get a little bit more comfortable with that three-point shot if he is to practice it gradually over time. We obviously know that a guy in Xavier Tillman already was able to polish that a little bit in last year's offseason, so I have some high expectations with a guy in Thomas Sorber. But not am I the only person that has these high expectations, as Noah Dalzell sat with Kevin O'Connor yesterday and talked about some draft guys, and he says that he loves Thomas Sorber as a potential Celtics pick in the upcoming draft. And like I mentioned, Thomas Sorber's kind of variability in the draft process and where he's being ranked is kind of random right now. A lot of people think that he could be a potential lottery pick, but as Kevin O'Connor has him ranked in his latest mock draft courtesy of Yahoo Sports, he has him falling at pick 26, which would only be 2 picks ahead of the Boston Celtics. So with the Celtics holding pick 28 and potentially pick 32, they see a guy like Thomas Sorber falling, maybe to pick 20, maybe pick 22, maybe to pick 24, and guys like Danny Wolf, Maxime Reynaud are already off the board. Maybe they feel like they need to take that jump to select a big in Thomas Sorber, or maybe he falls right into their lap as a nice security blanket with all those uncertainties, obviously dealing with his outside shot and obviously how he's going to look coming off this foot surgery that he just dealt with his freshman year. But honestly, looking at those two things aside, I think Sorber has the potential to even go in the lottery to potentially some teams like Atlanta, maybe even a team like Phoenix if they were to trade up into the lottery. So there are a lot of uncertainties to where even if Sorber will be available for the Boston Celtics at pick 28, to where, he just might be out of the question. And even some of those other bigs that we've talked about, and Reynaud and Danny Wolf and Ryan Cockburn might be available. So the Celtics might still be able to supplement that role. But once again, I think a guy like Thomas Sorber, if he didn't get injured, would obviously be a lottery level talent, if not right outside the draft lottery here. And ultimately, I think that if that's the case, even with all the concerns that I just described here, if he does fall to pick 28 or anywhere close to pick 28, if you're the Boston Celtics, this is the key move to go and make to get your defensive big for the future. I think Thomas Sorber, like I mentioned, has the qualities to really develop to be one of those top guys for this Boston Celtics team. We see from Mohammed that he is undoubtedly the most versatile big man in the draft class, who he thinks will return his value. 6'10", 7'6" wingspan, physically imposing interior scoring with rebounding and rim protection at a 7.8 block percentage, strong short roll passing with developing perimeter shot. I really, really like what I've seen with Thomas Sorber. Nick Thomas as well, so he's one of the most surefire prospects in the 2025 draft. A 6'10" center with a formidable 7'4" wingspan, Sorber's skill set includes strong interior scoring, excellent in post-ups and finishing at the rim, alongside elite rebounding on both sides. And I think for the Boston Celtics, this solves a lot of problems that they could have with some of their bigger contracts, and also gets a center that they can utilize and develop for the future. So when Jayson Tatum does come back from his injury, and Jaylen Brown and Derrick White in this core are still here, the Celtics do have a foundational piece in a center that they can develop and utilize on a rookie scale contract with some of these guys to make some of these salary cap issues, I guess, less threatening for the future, but not only just that, but also not having them to go out and trade for another superstar potentially down the line and having to send out more assets. So like I said, Thomas Sorber, in my personal opinion, is one of the best bigs in the draft, if not the best big. And if I were the Boston Celtics, I would definitely be prioritizing this guy this season. But if not, if he does go ahead of him, like I mentioned, there are plenty of other bigs that we mentioned on this channel that I do like that still could be available that could help supplement the Boston Celtics. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you guys think about Thomas Sorber, and how high or how low are you on him on his ceiling in the NBA? Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in to these videos and showing your guys' support. Patrick and I really do appreciate it all, and we can't wait to give you guys more draft prospects and more stuff coming with you guys on the Boston Celtics this season. So make sure to stay tuned and let us know your thoughts, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, and go Boston Celtics. Peace out, everyone.